Okay, so the SimLab P1-X Dash Board from Apex Sim Racing. Let's just get into it. It ranges depending on what options you go for. So it starts out at $170 US with the basic buttons and no multi-switch. I added on another $50, so $220, about £205 to include the nicer NKK switches. Sticker, you can't really see it, but it's a sort of white sticker, see-through background. Yeah, so and then import duties and tax was about £45. So you roughly, I paid about 250 quid. Just cable and what looks like some mounting options. So you get the little wedges to make sure it fits nice in the P1. Oh, and a sour peach sweet. So yeah, 250 odd quid, but you can spend more. You could spend 270 and get the NKK and the multi-switch, which I think is like the funky switch of Fanatec wheels, you know, with the multi-directional and a push button. I've spent about 250 quid. I've already got slight buyer's remorse, not because of the quality of the product, I haven't seen it yet, but because I didn't really need it. And it's essentially, you know, a 3D printed button box. Carbon looks stuck on there. Doubt that's real carbon. Maybe it is. It's just a small sheet of it. So there we go. Connections on the back. Obviously connect one to the other and onto your computer. So on here, as you can see, I've gone for these switches. Much more tactile, and as a racing VR, to reach out and press these is much nicer than the other buttons, which I have had on another wheel. And here we go, ignition. Don't really know how that's going to work in all sims. You know, if you want that as ignition and starter, surely it would it not be better as a momentary? So you flick it up and it goes back down. But anyway, there we go. So that's one of them. That's the left-hand side. My idea on unboxing video is really just to see how well stuff's packaged, and to be honest, it was a bit pointless with this because, you know, what harm can really come to these? Packaged up well enough. You don't need any fancy custom-made packaging. Here we go. So we've got a nice big rotary there, and it does make you can feel each detent sort of thing. That's how much each one is. And obviously they've got brake bias in mind for this. Well, you could have it, well, whatever you want. Okay, there we go. So let's just check what's in here. Could be two cables. So yeah, your cable to your computer or your hub, obviously. One cable to connect them to each other. That's nice, so they'll clip in nicely. Then we've got, I assume, is that some sort of keyring? Yeah. There's a ring in there, it's just an A, 3D printed A or whatever. It might be in carbon actually, it looks like carbon. Your Apex Racing keyring. And your wedges. Because obviously there's some tolerance in the cockpit, so these will make sure they sit flush and tight. And the most important thing, a couple of sours. Right, there we go. Let's get it on the rig. Okay, and here it is installed on the rig. Very simple, just took a few minutes. There's one page on their website showing you what to do. But it's just a case of you put them in, there's two screws that you tighten up against two plastic brackets. You just hold it against the front face mount, and that's it really. And you get a pack of wedges that you put in wherever you need to stop it moving. I've only done two on each, one there and there, one there and there, and that's it. So a few minutes, simple enough, solid as anything. It's not going anywhere. These wedges certainly are never coming out just through vibration and whatnot. I wouldn't have thought. Would touch wood, but there isn't any. And one cable, obviously connecting them up, which is going around under the SimuCube, and one I think 2 meter long USB cable going from the left side to your hub or PC. And yeah, very sturdy, as I say, no movement. One thing I've just realised is you flick that up, it lights up. How cool is that? I wasn't expecting that. So next thing is to assign them in a sim. I'm not really sure yet what I'm going to assign everything to. Obviously, the point of this is ignition and starter. Not really necessary, but that is cool. So I'm going to try that, and I'm not sure what sims are going to allow that to be ignition and ignition off, rather than, you know, usually pressing a button for ignition. So we'll see. But yeah, so very simple job to install it. Happy with how it looks. Let's jump into a sim and get assigning. Okay, so we'll give AMS2 a go first. Assetto Corsa doesn't have options to assign for ignition and starter, I believe. So we'll go to controls, edit assignments, vehicle. I randomly just got X as ignition, so let's see how this works. Nothing. Okay, so it puts it as 0, and you go on and then off. What if we start the other way with it on, down, up, still 0. Okay, so I'm not sure how that's going to translate in game. And let's do start engine, button 1. Nice, good job. Obviously this rotary is meant for brake bar, so we'll do that for now. I'm not sure if I'll have it as that. Let's just check it works fine. Yep, and rearward. Yep, by the way, this is actually, I believe, metal. It feels like an actual metal dial, which is pretty nice. I don't really want to fiddle with my other stuff, but I guess I'll assign something to these buttons, to 1 or 2 of them. Let's put a circle camera in. Let's do this one. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm not saying I'm going to use these in the game. This is just to check the majority of the buttons are working fine. Let's just do left and right. That'll do. That'll do for now. Let's jump in game, and really I'm just intrigued to see how the ignition is going to work, if it translates correctly. It may be that this sim doesn't like it, or maybe I have to use JoyToKey like I do with my wheels, but let's give it a go. Okay, so we're in cockpit, engines off. How's this going to go? Flick it up. There you can hear ignition come on. Obviously my light's here. There we go, nice. Does it? You can't turn the engine off with that button. But I don't think this is now going to turn ignition off. No, it doesn't. And should it? Shouldn't that now turn ignition off, really? But obviously in this it's just expecting one button. So when I push this up again, that's no doubt going to turn ignition off. So, yeah. Slight annoyance. I'm wondering if there's a way I can sort that out with using JoyToKey or third-party app. Because obviously I can't start now. That's up. I can't start it because the ignition's off. Now ignition will be back on. Okay. Left. Right, yeah, I mean all the buttons are going to work. I just thought I'd assign something. But they do feel great. Bias, yeah, each notch is indeed just doing 1. And if I've got a wheel on, what's it like to get to these buttons? Obviously they're not going to interfere. I've got an extension on here. Now if I didn't have that on, your hands are going to be closer, but still, you're not going to be right against here, are you? But it's nice to have a bit of reach. And in fact, even from here, if I wanted, you know, keep my hand on the wheel, I can just about touch buttons. I have got tiny hands, normal sized man hands. I'm sure you could even just quite easily reach a button if you wanted more than me. But yeah, nice amount of room though for me there to get behind and hit what I need to. Okay, so in iRacing then, ignore the field of view, obviously I only really race in VR. So let's give this a go. Is it going to be the same, or do we have specific settings for switches and stuff? Out of all the sims, I'm not going to try Dirt Rally or any others. I assume this out of all of them will have. So obviously I need auto engine start off. Let's go to controls, and I've got to find in-car assist ignition. So I've randomly got that as X and G. Okay, ignition. Choose a control primary, press enter when done if defining a switch. So it's obviously got a system in place for this in mind. So I assume I leave it on and press enter, not turn it off and press enter. Okay. Right, and then starter, simple enough, press that. Right, so that should be it. How's it going to actually work in operation? So, ignition on. Okay, yeah. I mean, that happened in AMS2. Let's just see now. Oh, perfect. That's what we want. Shame AMS2 can't do the same. And obviously, a set of course there's just no option anyway. I don't know about Race Room. I don't really use Race Room and R-Factor 2, to be honest. I do play Dirt Rally 2, but yeah, I'll just stick with these two for now. But that's how it functions, so awesome. And then, okay, that is cool. Come on, that is cool, having an actual... and, okay, yeah, it's designed in such a way that when you put that down, it's a safety thing. You know, inside there, it pushes the switch down. So it's like an emergency cut-off. That's pretty cool. There we go. Awesome. So yeah, nothing really to go into other than that. I'm not going to drive around pushing buttons, flicking switches. Bit pointless. We know it all works. It all feels good. It's sturdy. Now, am I happy with having spent 250 odd quid? Well, I can't really judge that right now. I've got to see how much use I put into it. 250 quid to have a cool switch that lights up is a lot of money. I will say I'm happy with the build quality. It feels really good, really sturdy. Again, I haven't put any time into it yet. Do I need all these inputs? I don't personally really need them all, but I will find a use for them, even if some of them are just system use. For example, I may personally have this as a volume control. So is it worthwhile for you? You can spend between, say, $170 all the way up to $270, depending on if you want these switches, the cheaper switches, or you want the funky switch. I will say, if you've got this cockpit, obviously it looks awesome, completes it nice. That's my main thing, it looks awesome. More functionality. And if you are someone that is short of inputs, then that's a good deal for you. I will say, there are times that actually I'll use them when, say, I'm using a wheel like this, and I'm using all functionality. So some of these switches might replicate what's on another rim. That's possible, because now I can do things I couldn't do before, say if I'm using this with Dirt Rally or whatnot. So that's pretty cool to give me some more functionality when I'm using a basic rim. But yeah, that'll do it really. There's not a lot more to talk about. If you've got any comments or questions, drop them below. I will always answer. But otherwise, that'll do it for now, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.